All right, we are back. Underdog Daily with one badge bro today. Good to be back, man. Good to be back. Feels good. We got some new contests up on the platform here. We got a beautiful heads up 4 rolls week 17 contest. Love to see it. The big eliminator. I had some what I thought were original thoughts, and then I saw Herzig tweet out exactly what I was thinking there. I'm seeing a lot of GMs in the chat here. I am seeing a lot of love for the wedding over the weekend. I appreciate you guys. So many nice messages. So many people reaching out. It was great. Just strength of our community here. But most importantly, man, married to this game. Married to this game. So no time off. Let's get in here. We'll start with the baseball stuff, but there's a couple things I want to walk through before we even get into the slate itself. As you guys can see, right here, I was doing kind of like my last little thing I do in preparation is literally just checking out the lobby for the home runs here and seeing kind of like who has some bad odds or who has some good odds to hit home runs, bad prices for us because clearly should be targets for us in our underdog drafts. Okay, let me do one thing here first. Sorry, it's hard to do like producer slash human slash drafter. All right, I think we're good now on that. And all right, cool. Yeah, so first things first, new contests up here. We got Mini Schnauzer 7, 8, 9, whatever number we are on now. We got 6 and 7. One is slows, one is the 15, and one is the 30-second clock mix one. So you got a slow and a fast version of the entry level price point for people. I know people have been clamoring for some low stakes action, so you love to see that. And then we got a very cool big eliminator going down here. And as I was saying, the heads up for rolls portion of it here is it's a 1v1 in the very end there. And man, I love to see that. I love to see almost everything associated with this contest. The price point, the 5 max, and then the heads up for rolls at the end, mono e mono is very cool. I will show you Herzig's tweet because this is basically exactly how I felt about the Eliminator contest in the past, was that you basically set yourself up for a strategy that is fully based on, call it floor, call it advancement, call it not getting eliminated, and then you get to the finals and it's like you're basically playing like a mini version of BBM, right? And it was kind of like, well, that's not in the spirit of the eliminator. So doing something like this, I mean, just the trial run, I know people have been clamoring for heads up style tournaments in general, but then also just to meld it into this is just so effing sharp. I love this. I echo all the sentiments in which Herzig was sharing here. That's basically exactly what I was going to come on and share right away. While I am sharing things here, I will share with you guys that Gretch has already done a little bit of stuff here. I know he did a Spike Week pod alongside Biden for about the eliminator in general, but he did a quick breakdown here of the payout and what the advancement structure is and how much of the field gets eliminated as you go through there. And his articles on it are non-paywalled there. So I will drop this tweet in the chat too. So if you are hopping in to the big eliminator, I think those are 2 great starting points from strategy standpoint there. Okay, let me get rid of that one. Before I go back to the platform of the people, I got to shout out one more here before okay, cool. Let's do, I totally goofed that up. My bad, guys. Right here. Bang. All right. Our guy Paid doing some viz work here. I'm going to give this one a like and a retweet to make sure everybody can see it, and I will drop it in the chat as well. But Paid, very successful daily player on our site who has had both success in the NBA streets and in the baseball streets this year. He's collected data from over 250 MLB slates, and an evergreen conversation in which we always have is like, what should the utilization of our stack types be? Because instead of just having like oh yeah, we should just be clicking buttons, and sometimes we're 5 stacking and sometimes we're 4 stacking, and I will just progressively figure it out, and we're bro sciencing our way through it. Now we might have some actionable data here. So I mean, go through it, read it on your own accord. Um, this represents like the median. These lines in each of these graphs is like the median, and then you do the outlier like this, and you guys know how to read it. But I'm not sure I have any definitive takeaways just yet. I literally just saw this like 5 minutes before we jumped on here, and I just had to bring it to everyone's attention. I think the thing that's most interesting to me is stack type relative to points scored, relative to implied totals, relative to number of games on the slate. Now, you would basically have to take all three of these charts in which he has right now and meld them kind of into one to get that and see the most actionable. But I think the most actionable one is probably this one, where he's got all the stack types on the right hand side here, the number of games in the slates, and then relative to the winning score here. And you can kind of see, like, okay, on some of these 4-game slates, what was utilized, what was underutilized. Like, you can see that, like, the 2-2 X, so the 2-2-1s would be like utilized more frequently than anything else. But then you see the outlier score potential of like the 4 stack on a slate that only has 4 games. So just very cool. Very, I don't know. It's just the start to something of what we've been looking for so long with these contests, right? Okay, give me 1 second here. I got to retweet this link so we can get some more people in here hanging out with us. Okay, should be good now. All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, yes. Best Ball Viper had the same thought here. So generous of him to do this. I mean, like, the strength of this community, man. Everybody's just trying to grow and jam together. Yeah, Paid. If you have anything else, he's hanging out in the chat right now. If you have anything else to share on this, please do so in the chat. So yeah, just so we can carry on this conversation. But I thought it was very, very cool. Appreciate all the congratulations and stuff in the chat there. We get our guy Nick alluding to the fact that there was some big NFL news this morning. We'll jump into it right after the baseball, but we just got a rap sheet tweet implying that Nez might have been right all along, and that Brandon Ayuk may be finding his way to the Steelers. I don't know. It sounded a little more definitive than perhaps some of the stuff we have heard in the past. Yeah. Yeah, but busy weekend with the wedding and stuff. Didn't get a ton of drafting in. I'm on the clock in a billion slow drafts right now. But that's good. That's good. I'm really looking to up my volume this year. I'm going to give that a retweet there and that so we can share paid stuff around. All right, cool. Let's go back to platform of people. We'll talk about the slate today in general. No weather concerns would be the first box for us to tick off. There are 3 slates. I'm just going to talk about the main slate just because it's the most evergreen content-wise. But yeah, there is a couple like random notes in this slate. I will tell you that Kerry Bonds, he's coming back from the IL today and doesn't have an ADP. So if people want to get ahead on the early slate, drafting a little Kerry Bonds there, that is good for some of our dinger teams that happen to have him on the back end of that. But yeah, not going to be able to play this slate just because of stream in real life. So I'll be focusing my attention on the main slate. But that was the one little nugget that I noticed right away there. Obviously, Detroit versus Seattle in Detroit, not the greatest spot in the world versus George Kirby, but like a little bit of leverage with a guy who's probably going to hit in the middle of that order and is at least left-handed. All right, cool. DBK asking, will Hayden be joining? Hayden's not joining today. Hayden will be joining on Thursday. Show is 30 minutes later than usual, so 2:30 Eastern. Hayden will be here on Thursday. We're going to do the solo run today, do both sports, and then tomorrow we'll do the regular off and on the clock with Pete Overzed, and then Thursday we'll do the show with Hayden, and I'll hopefully do a members only baseball video that morning. But sorry, nothing yesterday. And nothing Friday either. I still got some family jumping some family here before they leave that I'm going to see on Friday there. Yes, thank you, Clay. Thank you to everyone. Dingers left. Yeah, we could take a look at Dingers left here before we jump into the main slate. Very unfortunate. I was venting to Numi and Nez there the other day that I thought all draft season long that Jake Berger's ADP was so effing bad, Jorge Soler's was so effing bad, and Zach Eflin's was not the worst in the world, but was not good. And I basically have 0% of all of them. I think I have one perfect game Eflin share, and that was it. And those were low key the guys you need over the weekend. And I was advancing 10 out of 17 dingers, and I ended up only getting 5 through with 5 third places after Atlanta went off in Coors. So we can go ahead, we can look at live best ball MLB. Here you go. So we're in the semifinals. We have one entry left in the perfect game. It appears we're in third place at the moment. Doesn't mean anything this early in the week. There's my Eflin share I was referring to. Yeah, we got Wheeler, Eflin, Green, Kelly, obviously RIP, Javier RIP. I got that nice Sale start last night. Man, that was a beautiful pitchers duo between Sale and Snell. Got to watch a little bit of that on the West Coast here, man. Just K after K. Second half Sale is a fucking thing, man. It's a real thing. It's incredible to watch. Jake Cronenworth, man, I had some home run stuff on him yesterday. I thought it was a really good spot for left-handed San Diego that didn't get there. Still had a top 10 lineup last night in the main contest, but yeah. Hopefully Lourdes Gurriel, he's got a Q tag today, but Kerry Bonds is back, and Lourdes Gurriel is in a really nice spot if he can play today. A little bit of a hamstring issue. Jazz Chisholm, I highly doubt he plays today. He has the Q tag on our site right now. He left the game because the game was out of reach. First time leading by double digits all season long for the Chicago White Sox last night on New York Yankees chalk day. Low-key beautiful thing to see. Yeah, so we got one of those bad boys left. Looks like a half decent team, nothing too amazing. And we got 5 dingers left. We could take a look at the one that is in the top spot here right now. Bieber's dead, but we got Gilbert. Fought had a really nice K start last night. Flaherty, Sears. This is a nice punt pitcher build here. We're going to have Miller and Gilbert get a start this week. Bobby Witt and Ellie on the same team. That's fun. So this was a punt pitcher and a punt outfield build by the looks of it. And yeah, we kind of got like a Yankees back stack here. Fell into it by accident with the Verdugo, or I guess not by accident. No, yeah, we're good. Yeah, Volpe. Yeah, we're good there. And then Josh Bell in a good spot tonight. So who knows? Yeah, who knows? Hopefully you guys got some better bullets. I saw some really, really nice teams floating around on the web there. So yeah. Oh, here we go. John Carlson's got me, man. Merrill Kelly's back. There we go. Paying way more attention to me. So love to see that. Any idea who the 2-start pitchers? Honestly, like it'd be really easy to find out. Just go use the 2-start pitcher tool on a pitcher list, or go use the 2-start pitcher tool on. Yeah, man, so many sites do it for season long, so go check it out. But offhand, Noah, no, I do not. I have not looked yet. We can maybe look in a half second here. But basically, anyone who started to today will be, or today and yesterday will be in succession to do so. So if you get 2-start Sale and 2-start Snell the way they're going right now, look out. Okay, Numi's asking for story time about the wedding. I don't know, man. Day flew by. It was a lot of fun though. I cried like a baby during the ceremony when I was doing my vows, and it was pretty funny. Because it kind of like when the tears caught up with me, it was when I was saying a line that involved the word confident. So it kind of came out as like, I'm so confident. It was pretty good. So the boys were clowning me about that one after. But no, it's just very fun, loving filled day on a super nice farm that had, 55 acres of free roam with, we had cows and horses and all that sort of thing, and outside dancing. Yeah, I mean, maybe the biggest highlight of the evening was my dad, who if you've been a long time watcher of the show, you know that my dad's in a band, just recreational and fun that they do, but they play at like I guess I don't know what the proper term is, but like ANAF, ANAF, or like kind of like the old military like bars and stuff like that. So they play at one that's kind of like local and around here, and they play like once a month or once every 2 months, and they just play all like old classic rock covers and stuff. So my dad actually did an acoustic version of our first dance and Nikki's first dance with her dad and played it for us while we danced. So that was a really nice highlight. Unfortunately, Noah, Mr. Goodboy was not involved. Just too hectic. He was there for setup and tear down and got to jam at the farm and stuff, but he just went to a different farm down the road to chill. But yeah, man, beautiful day. Time flew by, but really appreciate, man. So many people reached out, man. Like, like T Bear was trying to start something in the Discord where people got my registry and got us a gift and stuff. I mean, like, just genuinely too kind. So much appreciated all the love and all the DMs I got, man. It was awesome. Actually, funny thing, I never really post on Instagram, and I posted a bunch of the wedding stuff after, like just resharing everybody's stories and stuff like that. My Instagram got hacked yesterday because of it, I guess. I don't know. Just going from like inactive to active, and then someone targeted it. Who knows, man? Bizarre. Okay, let's do rapid fire MLB slate here. I did 2 drafts this morning, nothing crazy. Man, it was popping off the page to me that Corey Seager's the best hitter on the slate, both in terms of like BBP, both in terms of ballpark. There's no Coors, there's no, no traditional classic hitting environment spots. Yeah, thank you, Nick. Yeah, I'm using it. There we go. Yeah, Numi's a crybaby too. Yeah, but I think Corey Seager's the best play on the slate, man. I really like the Rangers today. Josh Young's back, and he kind of is just going undrafted in here. That monster is that green monster is calling his name today. I really like the spot for Texas for whatever reason. Implied team total is like decent, not amazing, but like, I mean, you can go to like the obvious stuff. Like yesterday, I thought was the reason I aped in a lot late, even though I didn't have much time yesterday, and ended up getting, I don't know, 20. What did we get? 26 bullets in there from yesterday, because I just went, this is a generational wealth opportunity with Mookie Betts going like completely undrafted. So I was like, just go hammer that kind of thing. There's not as clean a spot jumping off the page to me today. Bobby Witt Jr., I think, should have a Q tag. He did finish the game yesterday, but went for x-rays after they're negative. They talked about soreness, blah, blah, blah. I think he plays, though, so that's probably why there is no Q tag there. But outside of these like Ketel Marte, I don't think he plays today. But if he goes today, like, he's the biggest lefty killer in terms of home run rate in all of baseball, and you're getting him at a discount because of a Q tag. If there's no Q tag today going against Austin Gomber, he's probably going, up with Vlad, up with Betts, up here. So if you want to ape that variance, I totally get it. I think Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has a better chance to play today, and he's buried down here somewhere with the Q tag, and he'll hit third versus the lefty today. Not as good a lefty killer as Marte is, but just someone who was jumping out to me. Eugenio Suarez, another guy who was kind of low-key popping for me in some of my sheet stuff. Toronto looks good, but Toronto, where's Bobby Wagner's kid? Make sure he's not in the pool yet. Yeah, he's not in here. Bobby Wagner's kid got called up yesterday. And Bobby Wagner? Billy Wagner. Billy Wagner. Why am I saying Bobby? Bobby Wagner's a linebacker. Billy Wagner's kid got called up yesterday and had a very nice big league debut there, going 3 for 4 or whatever, kind of like strengthening this lineup a little bit. But, some of this back end, like if you guys can see what I was looking at with the pick'em stuff, we'll go back to the home run pick'em and just juxtapose here. If you look at the price tags on some of these Toronto home runs, it doesn't equate with their ADPs. Let me find, did Did I scroll past it yet? No. Their later game, late game. Like Springer, 2.32. Where's the Varsho one? Varsho, 2.26. Like, hmm. If the Pick'em lobby thinks the home runs are coming from Toronto, those ADPs don't line up with what those odds are, right? Like, because the players in which they're going around on that back end will not have nearly the implied home run potential there. I wanted to show everyone the Seager one and why, this isn't why I think it's such a good spot. Seager was popping for me on my sheet as my favorite play on the slate, period. I mean, like, we're getting a 1.68 for a Corey Seager home run today. Like, I can't in good faith tell you to play that. Like, you know what I mean? Which means you should just be aping the shit out of them in the battle royales, because that looks like a really, really good, really good spot today. We can go through some of the other lineup notes and stuff. I will be attacking this game environment in general. I think the Mets are like a little bit underpriced. Kind of funny that Ross Stripling, we get the rookies into the player pool, but Ross Stripling's still not in the player pool for some reason. I have no idea what's going on with Ross Stripling for 4 weeks now that he's been a starter. It's just not in the player pool. Paul Blackburn, revenge game start here with some strikeout upside on the other side, going relatively undrafted. So, I've seen worse ideas than mixing in Paul Blackburn, like just a guy who can get, professional ass pitcher who can get hot with strikeouts. I'm not going with the Royals and attacking Zebby Matthews. I know I'm a proponent of attacking rookies in their first big league start. The dude's strikeout rates are insane. Like, they're like 30%, and he walks nobody. Like, he walks like 3% of hitters in the minor leagues. He was at 2 levels over the last 2 years. I think he's got like 200 innings under his belt. So not like the craziest biggest sample ever, but like we're talking like almost a 30% K percentage and like less than 4% walk percentage. I'm going to look elsewhere than the Royals today, especially if Bobby Witt isn't like 100%. But that's just like my knee-jerk reaction to that. White Sox put up a big number yesterday, and they did so without Luis Robert Jr. in the lineup. I saw my guy Andrew GPNC. I always fuck up the acronym names. But Andrew had 2 lineups in the top 10 there with contrarian 4-man White Sox teams. So I thought that was very cool to see there. As I alluded to, don't think Jazz Chisholm plays today. He got lifted halfway through the game. It was something to do with a wrist, I believe. There was an awkward play at the plate where he scored on a ball from like where he was already running on the play, and then he scored at the ball. Whatever. Yeah. Anyways, he slid headfirst into home, and you could tell something wasn't like perfect there once he got up. Yeah, Yankees are good chalk for a reason. Stanton is really affordable right now. Austin Wells has been low-key one of the best hitters in baseball for a good stretch now. Mix yourself in a little contrarian Yankee stack that doesn't include Judge and Soto. Elbow, thank you. No Bo Sox. It was elbow for Jazz. Yeah, which is probably not great when he's playing third base too. I don't know which elbow it was, so that's just interesting little note. Yeah, anyways, just kind of thinking out loud here that I'm going to mix in like a little Stanton Wells as like a cheeky backstack, cheeky 2-man backstack, and like do some Yankee stuff that doesn't include Soto and Judge, because some of those combos just repeat themselves over and over again on a day like today, especially the way ADPs line up here. Brewers displayed a little bit of pop yesterday. There's 3 2-run home runs in this game yesterday. Ohtani, Betts, and Willem Contreras lifted one out. This is the battle of the Gavin Stone versus Colin Rea battle of they can't keep getting away with this. And Gavin Stone has stopped getting away with it recently. And Colin Rea needs to stop getting away with it. I got some of the StatCast stuff pulled up here on the side, and it's just like, my goodness. I don't know how Colin Rea keeps turning in the results in which he does. I think he's only given up 2 earned runs in his last 3 starts, and just like everything underlying just looks bad. And he doesn't strike out a ton. He walks too many. He gets hit too hard. Like it just he can't keep getting away with this meme over and over again. So I will be targeting Dodgers today, especially like one-offs in like my 1-1-3 builds, stuff like that, where I'll start with Ohtani or Betts or something like that, Freeman to a lesser extent, but just do some stuff like that. Because here's an evergreen reminder here. Is BJ saying he got a Mookie plus Ohtani? Oh, he's referring to last night. Okay, sorry. But just in general, evergreen reminder that when people get in these lobbies and they start doing the auto drafting and they start doing like like just take three guys and then queue up and push the plane kind of deal, is you're going to get some funky combos that arise, and people are going to have like Ohtani plus bets. And even though the ADPs don't look like they should be able to have it, they will end up having it. So it's one of those classic days for me where it's like, I'm not going to chase that GM all day. If I happen to fall into one later in the day, that's great, but I'm not going to chase it all day. So I'm not going to prioritize Dodgers. I'm going to look for contrarian spots, and then I'm going to utilize one-off Dodgers around them, or just punt Dodgers and do other ones around it, right? So yeah, anyways, that's just kind of a macro theory point that I like to point out on slates like this. But yeah, Colin Rea, man, we just this guy's got to get hit hard one of these days. Like it has to happen. It just, things are going too bad for them to be going this good. Decent hitting environment for the Blue Jays and the Angels here. I am targeting and attacking Carson Fulmer. There was a really bad lineup from them yesterday from the Blue Jays, and I think we're going to see something like similar. Like this bottom half of this lineup is just like gross. But the Wagner addition after yesterday, like he should be better than league average, and he should project better than like a 105 WRC plus or something like that. So I do like that addition to it. Jimenez homered last night for what it's worth. So, maybe there's a little something here, but Varsho looks like for like a sneaky home run guy in our BRs for me today. I like Varsho. So I will be doing kind of like some of these back end Blue Jays ones. Vlad's on another planet still right now. So do that. And then on the other side of the equation, like Kevin Gausman isn't the guy I'm looking to get over on, man. The strikeout rates are way, way down. They just haven't been there, man. They just haven't been there. So we dealt with this with Gausman last year at the tail end and in the postseason, where he was tipping pitches. And I don't know if he's tipping pitches again, but like I don't know how to explain his strikeout rate being down. And he's been a lot better at home than on the road, I believe. Those were the splits I was looking at earlier. I might have that backwards, so double fact check me on that one. Yeah. Okay. Erod is back. This is his second start out. He did not go deep in his first one there. A lot of moving pieces are going to be in this Diamondbacks lineup today. Corbin Carroll may or may not play because they're facing lefty on the other side. He sat the last time out versus a lefty, and Jake McCarthy played instead of him. Jake McCarthy's been going nice. Really weird slate last night where the outfield combination pairing that you needed, because no outfielders scored points other than Ohtani and Jake McCarthy last night, that you needed to find your way to like Betts and Ohtani, and then 3 one-offs, and one of them being Jake McCarthy. I don't know. Shout out to the guys who did well last night and had some winning lineups at the top, but I never would have got there to one-off Jake McCarthy. I did not think that was a great play, but he did end up hitting fifth and whatever. Austin Gomber, as we alluded to here, I will be getting to some Eugenio Suarez, and then you lump in the factor that potentially we get an off day here from Ketel Marte and Lourdes Gurriel Jr., and he's going to find his way moving up in this lineup a little bit. Randall Grichuk, certified lefty killer, but is the number one pinch hit risk on this team for Jock Peterson deep in a ball game. So do with that what you will. If they get up by enough early in the game and he does enough damage to matter, Jock won't come in for him. So maybe that's like your saving grace, but he will 100% get pinch hit for by Jock Peterson late in this ball game, because the Rockies do not have lefties in the pen. So Perdomo will be a good pick today. Switch hitter at the top of the lineup there. So yeah, just going to be undervalued. if we assume Ketel Marte isn't playing today, because this is a really nice spot for the D-backs, much like it was yesterday. Today is better, and you're getting a discount comparative to yesterday. So, and we've talked about how this team is better against left-handed starters than right-handed starters, and there was a right-handed starter yesterday. Now, some of that gets negated by the fact that Ketel Marte may not be in the lineup, but just macro thoughts, right? Rockies you're getting to for the sake of contrarian sake. They are better right-handed, so you can do like some of this Tovar, Rogers, Brenton Doyle stuff at the top here. Some Tolia, who only hits extra base hits, so when he does break a slate, he breaks a slate in a big way. So yeah, I mean, if you want to get to contrarian three-mans here and just attack the fact that Erod's only pitched once in the last year, by all means, it does not feel bad. All right, might be going back to the Padres well today. There was no Manny Machado in the lineup yesterday. Imagine he's back in the lineup today, which would strengthen the top side of that one. But just a reminder that San Diego is playing up for power. And we had that narrative early in the year about Cleveland's ballpark, especially to right field, where they, lifted some seats out and made a wind tunnel and balls were getting out. Same shit's happening in San Diego. And if you go look at the ballpark factor stuff, this is not the same place to pitch that it once was. It is a good place to hit for for left-handed hitters hitting to right field. So give me a little of this Jackson Merrill pull side power today. Luis Ortiz has been nice in his last couple starts out. Nez will tell you that he's like not that bad. I'll say just go ahead and take Padres, who are not getting drafted enough relative to their ADP, because their implied team total is not that far off some of the teams that are getting drafted at a much higher frequency, such as the Dodgers, such as portions of the Royals and Twins lineup, not all of them, such as the Mets. They have the same implied team total as the Mets and slightly higher than the Rangers. And those guys get drafted way more than San Diego does. Now, San Diego's weird because the way in which they break slates is not with isolated power. They do lack isolated power in their lineup in general. But that being said, I will be getting to some San Diego twos and three-mans. They play better as twos and three-mans than one-offs. Don't fact check me, but that's 100% true. Michael King is SP1 on the slate for damn good reason. One of the best strikeout rates on the slate, if not the best. I think it was actually second best to somebody else, but it was like a sample size thing that was fucked up on my sheet. So yeah, Michael King's best pitcher on the slate today. If you go to the Pirates, it's basically only for contrarian leverage, but you would do so by doing like left-handed power from Brian Reynolds and O'Neill Cruz. Won't fault you for doing those as one-offs or as a two-man stack there for all the same reasons I like left-handed versions of the San Diego Padres there. And then really good pitching spot here in San Francisco, 62 degrees, ballpark that mitigates wind, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, you can get to the Braves because getting to the Braves is fine, but Kyle Harrison has had some good starts in recent memory, dating back to even like tough environments, like the Coors start comes to mind. I guess that was 3 starts ago now, where he only gave up like 2 hits and struck out, not double digits, but like pretty high up there. Anyways, I like Charlie Morton as my like punt pitcher of the day. It feels like a good spot just in general. Like Heliot Ramos has really cooled off. Tyler Fitzgerald, not cooling off necessarily, but the power just not there in the same capacity in which it was. Well, it could never be, because he was on pace to be fucking Alex Rodriguez for a month. But yeah, I will be getting to this game environment for pitching, and basically only for pitching. I know the Braves can break slates in a big way via the long ball, but it's just not something I'm looking for. If you were watching last night's game at all, like Austin Riley hit a ball that should leave in every single park and just didn't last night. Like there's just, when you watch games in San Francisco, you just go like, there's nothing here other than pull side down the line power. None of those balls that are hit to either gap are ever getting out. It's literally just down the line in that ballpark from either side of the plate. And, it's a reason they've been one of the lowest home run parks in baseball for the last 3 years. So I just don't get to it. I know there's enough power to get to it. You could talk me up this Jorge Soler revenge game series, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, dead ball is so back, jump free. Yes, very much so. Yeah, so that's the macro on the slate. I think Diamondbacks are underpriced. I like right-handed Rockies a little bit. I think Varsho in the top of the Blue Jays lineup is underrepresented. I think Logan O'Hoppe, I would like the Angels a little bit today as my favorite kind of like contrarian leverage spot, just because Gosman goes every single time out and his strikeout rate's way down, and he's been struggling, in a couple isolated starts recently. The problem with it is like this Angels lineup might be quite depleted today. There's two Q tag guys on it, and one's Logan O'Hoppe, who left after like one AB yesterday. I don't think he goes today, so it just really weakens the isolated power in that middle of that lineup. But I could see getting to it. Mets feel underpriced, but they're going to be more owned than Padres. Corey Seager's my favorite hitter on the slate, just like period, flat out. And then getting to like this Boston game environment on either side just feels like the comfiest clicks of the day for me thus far. And then basically using Yankees as one-offs and Dodgers as one-offs, and then maybe some contrarian two-mans of those two. Like if I do like a Will Smith plus Teo, or I do like a Stanton plus Wells or something like that. Let's hop in and see what it looks like. Do baseball, do this middle slate. I'm seeing a little chatter about the early slate coming out here. Cal Raleigh breaking the early slate. I wouldn't hate to see it. Would not hate to see it. Dude, he's actually been homering like more from the right-hand side this year, which was like always his weaker of the two sides. And he's had multiple games. I think he's had 3 games this year where he's homering from both sides of the place. We got some friendly faces in here. Seeing a lot more of this top fantasy plays. So if you're hanging out, say what up, because I've been seeing a ton of him or her in the streets recently. The seed meister. The Meister. Logan O'Hoppe is a P right now, but I don't know if that's actual info. Okay, good shouts there. What I was reading this morning, I think I still got it pulled up on the side here. What did I read? Left Monday's game against the Blue Jays with right knee soreness. Considered day to day. I don't know. When catchers leave a game, like catchers leaving the game always feels like day off the next day, but that's just like anecdotal, and there's nothing in there. Any hoops action for me? Not today. No WNBA stuff for me right now, but we got a couple double dribble videos up here, and I will definitely be getting more in the double dribble streets, saving some of that stuff like backdated for when like football ends, and then we can, or football draft window ends, and then we can do football dailies and season long NBA as kind of like a duo there. All right, we got the standard start here. I'm just gonna go ahead and push up my guy here. I'm gonna go ahead and just like take Corey Seager. I mean, you can F around and like take King first and then take Seager. I think it is a pretty stark tier break for SB, for like King being SP1. It feels like a much better spot than like any other one of these like mid ones on the slate here. Nasty Nectar got tagged his last time out. I think there's a reason they were trying to trade him, and they were concerned about his physicals, man. Like at the deadline, they were talking about him being like a piece that would be included in the Jack Flaherty deal and couldn't get it done and stuff like that. This middle tier of pitching, like though Minnesota, good place to hit. Minnesota can get to you with power in a big way, especially like, some Matt Wallner, some like Royce Lewis. Royce Lewis, it's absolutely disgusting what he has done. Like I think he has hit his 15th home run last night, maybe his 16th, something like that, in like 40 big league games. And he had 40 games the previous year and did the same thing. It's just crazy what he's done in such a small sample size. If only the guy could stay healthy. Let's take Devers. We're going to ape into that game environment here. No Duran. Duran got suspended for, whatever. For some inappropriate language directed at some fans there. So he is out of our dinger streets for the first 2 games and out of our daily streets today. This is the last game of his suspension. So we'll probably get Hamilton leading off, or like Ref Snyder or something. I think they do Ref Snyder versus a lefty. They'll probably do they'll probably move like Willer Abreu up, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, man. This is why he's my favorite play on this slate, BJ, is like Seager falling to 13 and stuff. Like Seager is readily available. You don't have to take him in the first round, and you could just get him every single time. If I do some of those one-off Dodgers stuff or one-off Yankee stuff, if I can get like a Judge plus Seager, Ohtani plus Seager, Betts plus Seager, I'll do it every single time, and then I will mix in like a 3-man stack or a 2-1 or something like that from the other side. But yeah, we can have a little fun with this one here. Do some scrolling on both sides of this and attack this Fenway game, because I do feel like it's a good place for power today. I do want to make sure that Tyler O'Neill is not anywhere close to coming back. I've just been keeping my ear to the ground. So that was 6 days ago, because it wasn't supposed to be a long stint, I don't think. So just keep your ear to the ground when it comes to like upcoming here with Tyler O'Neill coming back. Might be able to get some discounts on him. So like Ketel Marte is a smash here if he plays. It looked kind of bad, and he was limping right after the at bat. I don't think he goes today, so we're gonna bypass that one. We could build out some contrarian stuff, but I think I'm gonna stick to my guns and say what I said earlier, that Josh Young, that Fenway Green Monster, is calling Josh Young's name today. And you guys know, man, I've been attacking Cutter Crawford. I've been attacking some of those guys heavy this year, and not to a great deal of success, but like some of these mid-tier Boston guys. Boston has the most runs allowed. It's actually a really funny stat. So since the All-Star break, Boston has the most home runs in a 15, 18 game sample or whatever it is in the second half of a season in the history, in that isolated window, whatever it was, 15 games or 18 games, it's like 40 something home runs. It's the most home runs that they have hit as a franchise in that time span ever. They're also the worst team in all of baseball in terms of runs allowed since the All-Star break in terms of runs per game. They are giving up a boatload. So yeah, I'm going to keep going back to the well on Fenway being a good place to hit right now, and that bullpen / starting staff being not great. All right. Go get it, Bubs. All right, this is where we should start thinking about pitching here. I like all three of these guys at the top here. I kind of like the leverage that I guess Morton doesn't even introduce that leverage anymore because he's SP6. So I could just kind of like take who I like the best. Let's do Blackburn in this one just because, I don't know, switch it up. Get some of those Oakland strikeouts. And then we could take a look at outfield here. If we're going to build this like all stacky, Willer Abreu makes like too much sense hitting from the left-hand side there. That one feels good. We could do something like Langford. Yoshida's been hot recently as we see him go at 20 there. Yeah, I know. No, we could add like Langford to this, or we could add Adolis or something like that. And then I probably won't have a ton of Ref Schneider. I basically only use him against lefties, and he's the most likely to get pinch hit for every single time. So, yeah. Rafaela got hit in the face yesterday with a pitch. He'll be fine today. It was weird, like it like brushed his nose. Bizarre sequence of events. He doesn't wear one of those like shields that comes down like this, and pitch just like grazed the front of his nose. It was bizarre. There goes David Hamilton, which is unfortunate. Oh, never mind. We got the 3 infield spots. We're good. But in general, just seeing him like kind of getting pushed up into this territory, some of my kind of like plays I was liking earlier in the day are becoming less enjoyable here. Yeah, let's take a look at the Mets for a second here, just seeing where their ADPs are at. We do like a little Nimmo Winker thing. Let's do Willer Abreu. I think he hits decently high in the lineup there, and he's got some good pop versus righties. he's low key a righty killer compared. He's awful against lefties. So definitely some pinch hit risk there if Ref Schneider or Rafaela don't start today. There would be pinch hit risk there for Abreu. But I envision just the way their lack of outfield depth today that they're going to be pretty safe. Um, yeah, I imagine Sogard's in there at second base. Dom plays first. Yoshida DHs. Yeah, I think we're going to be pretty safe here in terms of outfield options for them today. So we'll do a little two-man. Devers and Abreu probably hit either fourth and fifth or fourth and sixth. If we get lucky, Abreu might find his way up to the top of the lineup and hit second. Yoshida hit third kind of deal. And then if we go to the Rangers side here and build out a little 3-2, we can kind of do Adolis is gone already. So someone did the one-off Adolis there. So I guess Wyatt Langford kind of makes the most sense here. He probably has the highest ceiling of the bunch, but yeah, I'm not a huge Wyatt guy. I think he has the potential to be really good in the future, but I don't think he's been great this year. That was my third baseball draft of the day. In the interest of time, I don't think I'm going to do another one there. I'm just going to go ahead and jump in the football streets and talk it through. This is for anyone who read the description. This is my Wayne Gretzky BBM. This is 99 for me. As I hop in, as I click this bad boy, oh, we got a fresh lobby. This is going to be friends and family. We got 11 spots up for grabs in BBMV, aka BBM5. Let's fill this bad boy up here in the blink of an eye. Mr. Good Boy is on one right now. Get your Mr. Good Boys in the chat. I'm going to get this guy a bone so he chills out, and we fill this lobby. All right. One more. Yes, Mr. Good Boys in the chat. Appreciate you guys. There we go. All right, one more for the BBM here. Some obvious news. Actually, I'll share a couple more resources, stuff I was reading through. Obviously, haven't watched all of the games. I'm a big watch the games preseason guy. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoy actually seeing football and seeing what's going on with the rotations and the snap counts. Maybe it's a little bit of a I know ball kind of thing where it's like I can see who's rotating and why they're rotating, or I can recognize why a snap count was a certain way contextually because a guy came limping off the field or a guy subbed himself out versus someone else subbing in for him. So I am a big watch the preseason guy. If we don't actually like football, just spreadsheets. I like that. But there were some really good debriefs that I read through this morning. Hayden's got his up here, stock really up and down. Obviously, this one has changed. This is stock really up for Sam Darnold, not from JJ McCarthy with the news this morning of a potential meniscus tear there. There was also the utilization report that Pete was referencing, this one from Dwayne McFarland, who was on ADP chasing yesterday. Some great nuggets and some great takeaways in that one. And then my guy Kyle Dvorak over on NBC. So these are all free resources that are kind of like full preseason breakdowns and takeaways. If you do not want to go through and sift through all the snap data and whatever yourself, I can drop links in the chats, but I'm pretty certain you guys are smart enough to figure it out for yourselves. So the obvious ones from today, pour one out, Tyrone Tracy, unfortunate there. Eric Gray, he worked over Eric Gray in the first preseason game on Thursday night there. I caught a bit of that one. Eric Gray looked nice, 2 explosive runs, one being for a touchdown. But Yeah, I think Eric Gray becomes like a viable draftable 18th rounder, but I wouldn't overdo it because it feels, kind of like the Prince one, where it's like people went crazy with generic Prince, and then it's kind of like, are we even sure he's gonna make the roster now? Um, hmm. Speaking of which, making the roster, Nick from BDGE did a nice little athletic rosters. They did a 53-man roster projections came out on Athletic, and he just kind of did a nice quick summary of it there on his Twitter page. I'll give that a retweet so everybody can go find it there. But that one just felt like a good little Nuggets takeaway there. So I'll share that one in the chat as well for people. We are almost on the clock here. Begs the question with the Brandon Ayuk stuff and the Jahmyr Gibbs stuff right now. How GM is that Debo Samuel plus Gibbs pairing on the end here, or are we going to fade that? I think we should take Puka. I have the ETR rankings in here as of yesterday, or sorry, as of this morning, the updated ones there. I think I still like Drake London more than Debo, even if Ayuk gets traded. I'm not in the same stratosphere as Nez is when it comes to this Debo stuff. I think he's like one of the most injury risk players in all of football, just by the way, the physicality in which he plays, and the amount of like motion and backfield snap usage he gets. It reminds me a lot of 2 years ago when I was talking about Shohei Ohtani. That being said, let's do it. Switch it up for change here. Pretend that we know ball. We look sharp because we are ahead of this Ayuk stuff. We're ahead of the news right now. But yeah, man, I like Debo. I think Debo has a very high weekly ceiling in the weeks in which he plays. I think he's very important to that offense. I think he's more important to, like, schematically more important to that team than Brandon Ayuk. But I mean, the shit isn't a done deal, right? Like, there's offer on the table for Ayuk to stay. Yeah, I don't know. Do you really want to go play, in an offense where they rarely use the wide receiver, where they rarely use the wide receiver two, where they'll be very run heavy, where you'll have the quarterback play of Russell Wilson most likely to start, and then maybe some Justin Fields weeks? I don't know. If I'm Brandon Ayuk, why wouldn't I just stay with the Niners for like 3 years? Like, they offer you like a 3-year deal or whatever. Like, I don't know. Maybe you just, maybe the money is just like way too important because of the fragility of how these players' careers go, right? Like, the average career length of wide receiver is 3.2 years, 2.8 years, something like that. Like, most guys don't make it through their rookie deals and stuff. So maybe just the opportunity to capitalize on generational wealth is just worth so much more right now. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's better than winning. Okay, here you go. So if we want to double back on the data that we shared at the top there, Paid's tweet with some of the baseball stuff, go jump in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. There, they are talking about it in the baseball thread and kind of sifting through there. Appreciate the love there, Nick. And oh, gross. Meatwad saying he got his double Minnesota. I mean, this is like a classic evergreen reminder to everybody that it's like people are so frothy for news, regardless of the importance of said news, that like everyone goes into draft rooms thinking the same thing to like set the same shit up when news drafts, like when news drops rather. So it's like, oh, we got this JJ McCarthy. Like, everyone's thinking like, if I get in this next lobby, like I'm going to be the guy who sets up the Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson stack. And it gets to the point where some people just end up taking naked Sam Darnold, apparently. I don't know. Sam Darnold, very interesting. I haven't watched that game back yet, but Hayden was very bullish in his remarks about how the KOC offense looked, and just the kind of some of the separation for both those guys to throw into. There's reason to be bullish on Sam Darnold. We were bullish on Sam Darnold last year for the weeks in which he could potentially have started when Brock Purdy was hurt, or he had the Q tag or whatever, and ended up playing through and whatnot. But that's, a shanty system, so a little different, I guess. But I don't know, a couple years as kind of like not being the guy, and now learning, now get away from Adam Gates, case when he was with New York there and get some good tutelage under some good coaching staffs. And now he just like is KOC ball distributing kind of deal. Like we saw Jaron Hall have success last year. We saw Nick Mullins have success last year. We saw Joshua Dobbs roll in and start the same week in which he was traded there. I mean, you can find success as being like a mid-tier dude in a KOC offense. So if you're just aping that offense, it just feels bullish in general, I guess. Pete's got a Deposit Kingdom video. Ooh, look at this robust start here. Flexing. Royal fan. Ooh. We got friends and family in here. See Kobe's in here. The Icon I've seen a couple times now. Roofing Man. I see Blake. I see Sam. I see Jump Free. I see Joe. Holy moly. Yeah, getting robust there. Wow. Isaiah Pacheco at 32. Very interesting. All right, let's start thinking through some of the shit that's going to be available to us. Interesting Michael Pittman Jr. notes the fact that he didn't move to the slot with Josh Downs not playing. It was actually A.D. Mitchell who moved to the slot. Just an interesting little nugget there. We could set up kind of like a Pittman and then something later. Let's YOLO it up. Why don't we YOLO it up? Let's YOLO it up. Let's do the Kansas City stack on the right-hand side of the board here with a Debo Puka start. Let's have some fun. This is the 99th. This is the Gretzky of BBMs. Let's have a little fun on the right-hand side of the board here. And I don't know, something I floated in the Discord the other day. I don't know if it's sharp or not. Well, you guys can attest to this. I was thinking through how do you combat the rise of Rashi Rice? So, like, you know, we're probably not going to stop drafting him, right? Because he probably still, if he didn't get suspended, he probably still deserves to go in this Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore tier, right? So how do you combat without falling too far behind? So you can either do it in like different combos and pushed up on sides of the board. But I think some of that stuff is kind of like hoopla fairy dust that makes you feel smarter than you actually are when you do it. And you might just ape into bad combos and bad ownership. As much as I am a proponent of, you know, flipping the board once ADPs are solidified. But how about you just flip the ADPs of DeAndre Hopkins, Zach Moss, Jordan Addison, and Hollywood Brown. You take 4 guys who are fallers, who are not actually like that hurt. We expect them to miss the most replaceable weeks in all of fantasy, weeks 1 through 3 or 1 in some cases. But you get them at the discount. So you could take Rice in the 5th round, and then you could take Hopkins in the 8th round, and it's the exact same thing as what people were doing with their Rice combos 2 months ago. Now you're limited. Your combos are limited because you're not going to get as big an ADP fall on other guys. But it's just a thought experiment, right? It's like, you know, like what makes this decision right now with this Travis Kelce, Mahomes on the right-hand side of the board even better is I can almost guarantee we're going to get a Hollywood Brown fall. I can guarantee it, right? Nobody wants to touch Hollywood Brown right now. That SI joint or whatever it's called. So now I've guaranteed myself where people were flipping the board earlier, they were doing like Mahomes and Hollywood on this side, or they were doing Mahomes and Kelce on this side, and then they tack on Rice as the faller. Well, now I'll just tack on Hollywood Brown as the faller. And we have a similar combination that's not duped that maybe has almost as high a ceiling. I think I still like the Rice combos more. But like, I don't know, just thinking through like BBMs specifically. For these time box contests, it doesn't fucking matter. Just go ahead and take Rice. If you don't think he's going to get suspended It like ETR has moved him up really aggressively. Leg up was always kind of like in on him. Like Crane was always one of his targets. So he was always decently up there in the ranks and stuff like that. But yeah. Um I think we should still probably be buying some George Kittle here. Like George Kittle seems like he's going at a very palatable price tag that, as Mo's alluding to here, percentage of which Ayuk gets traded. As soon as he gets traded, like he's going to skyrocket. No, so there's something there. Very interesting start from Royal Fan here. Four running backs start right down the middle of the board. Very interesting. The icon getting that coveted GM Lamar plus Andrews on the left side of the board. That's a automatic tweet, mandatory tweet. Yeah, I like it. Oh, I got another thought. So I've heard this murmurings of it and stuff. If we are going to start flipping the board and we are thinking through ADP context, you cannot look at the ADP landscape in which it is right now. You have to go back and use some of the historical tracking. You have to use Best Ball Explorer. You have to use, what other resources are out there. You have to go out, use those resources to see what they were previously. Because if you are going to flip Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua right now, or you're going to flip Cooper Kupp up to the 12, as much as I love Cooper Kupp, as much as he is my highest exposed wide receiver, it is bad. It is bad. You are far better taking Cooper Kupp in the middle of the board because of where his ADP started and where it's been. I have plenty of combos. Cooper Kupp, 4th round, right-hand side of the board. 3rd round, right-hand side of the board. That sort of thing. So if you were going to flip the board with someone, you're way better flipping like Devin Achane to that side. You're better off flipping Saquon Barkley to the 12-13 because he never makes it all the way back. You have to think of combos that don't exist if you want to get creative with it. And Cooper Kupp is specifically not your guy for that. Now, could Cooper Kupp finish as WR1 this year? Could he outscore Puka? Could he warrant that draft capital? Could the combination stuff not matter at all? Absolutely. Absolutely. But from a theory standpoint, he's the wrong target to do it with. All right. Okay. I'm glad I got that off my chest. Preaching to the choir, though. Preaching to the sharps out here. Jump Free takes Keenan Allen, all 230 pounds of him right now. Apparently, the guy has bulked it up. Damn it. Xavier Worthy goes 1 pick before to Joe. That is very unfortunate. I think I will stick to my guns, though. I mean, we could try and push Hollywood like even further than this. Interesting. Let's take White as 1. Nez likes him. We're trying to get our White exposure up here a little bit. No reason to think he could lose his job to anyone on that team. That Worthy pick stings. Let's take Rome. I was listening to Norris and Hayden a little bit. I haven't made it all the way through that podcast yet, but they're talking about the preseason usage being encouraging, both at the offensive line play and with Caleb's play. They were really encouraged with that. And then they were encouraged with the fact that they think DJ Moore is going to be the guy who stays on the field at kind of like all times. And the rotationary guy to usurp would be Rome taking over Keenan Allen's spot if they run more 2 tight end sets, or if they just keep, Jump Free drafted the old fat guy. You did, my friend. You did. Yeah. So he's 230 pounds. So do with that what you will. I don't know if that's good or bad, but when I think of Keenan Allen, I think of a slender, clean, pure route runner. And according to Matt Harmon, I might even be wrong on that, but that's what I visualize and I think of. But I do keep coming back to this thing in my mind where I've said it 15,000 times on this show about what if we just flipped all the ADPs of the Bears and the Texans? Would it be that crazy at season's end that the Bears were that good in offense, that they deserved to have Rome going up where Tank Dell goes, that they deserve to, like, Rome just might be the best on there. Yeah, maybe not slender anymore. Not slender anymore, Dan. And just think of him as like fast, shifty, clean route runner. Yeah, we're starting to make this Rashad Whiteboy summer out here. Trying to get that up a little bit. Nez talked me into that one. There's this is kind of a hat tip to Nez right now with the Kansas City flip the board, Debo pushed up, and Rashad White pushed up. So he's influencing this draft even without being here. Kid's got to go smell the roses, though, man. He's too tapped in right now. I'm seeing him tweeting. I'm seeing him in drafts. I'm seeing him. I think he almost maxed the MLB contest last night. I'm like, dude, you're on vacation. You're on the beach. Go live a little. Come on, man. Got to teach him the other ways. We teach each other the underdog ways. I got to teach him the lifestyle ways here. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Okay, so Jahmyr Gibbs falls to 16 in this draft. I've seen him fall to be paired with Justin Jefferson, but Justin Jefferson fell in that room. So we might start getting some interesting Gibbs combos. I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow a little bit on off and on the clock there with the situation. But you see Sam Olsen pushing up David Montgomery, not an absurd amount, but just, 5 picks ahead of like Ken Walker and 5 picks ahead of his ADP. I think his ADP is like 73-ish or something. So he pushes him up there. Where does David Montgomery go if we get bearish Gibbs news here? Like we've thought of Gibbs for a while as like, if he had the backfield to himself, he could be 1,000 and 1,000 and he gets the goal line usage. Is the David Montgomery price already baked in to him being an elite handcuff? Is he already going ahead of Kenneth Walker or going, adjacent to Kenneth Walker, Kamara, James Conner because the price was already baked in? Or if we know Gibbs might miss a couple, maybe a pup-list candidate miss like 3 to 4 weeks at the start of the season. Does David Montgomery all of a sudden, is he better picked than Rashad White, Joe Mixon, that sort of thing? I mean, I could argue in weekly winners he is. I'm not sure I could argue in BBM he is. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Brian Thomas, ADP has not adjusted yet. I think he is a good pick right now. He was out there. I liken 3 players to playing very similar roles. Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy, and let me make this pick. We could do the obvious Najee run back off of this. Maybe Warren fits it better. I'm kind of out on Ramondre. Let's have some fun. Let's do Jordan Addison doesn't get suspended. We buy the dip over here, although it is just kind of in line with his new ADP now. And then we get the Jameson Williams run back. We bypass this running back tier that I'm so accustomed to always kind of like taking one in. And we start with a 1-1-5-1, but we do it in kind of a reverse order than I normally do because normally both Addison and Williams don't make it back to this corner. Get a little week 17 with Debo and Jameson, and then we kind of see what running backs fall back to us at 108, 109. Okay, let me finish the thought on Brian Thomas. So Brian Thomas, I believe it was in Hayden's notes here, his second note down, 9 of 9 snaps with Trevor Lawrence, while it was Christian Kirk who played in 3 wide receiver sets and kind of just mixed in. He played the slot role, blah, blah, blah. Does this imply that Brian Thomas Jr. is in line for 2 wide receiver set in the future kind of deal? I don't know, but we were taking him at 64 a month ago, and now he goes at 81, and now it's kind of bullish news. He should probably be going, ahead of a guy like Curtis Samuel, who got some bearish news over the weekend, who we could lump into that same category of, we could go Christian Kirk, Jaden Reed, Xavier Worthy, Curtis Samuel. I had one more name in my head, and now I've forgotten. But those guys all feel like third wide receiver to rotate in on teams that don't and probably won't play a ton of 3 wide receiver sets because they have kind of premium tight end options there. I guess the Packers are the most likely to play the most 3 wide receiver sets out of that bunch, but these guys feel like motiony, gadgety, slotty, design touches guys, but not every down guys. So if Brian Thomas becomes an every down guy and just plays the X and wins vertically, whew, him and Keon Coleman could be the big rookie risers in this vicinity to start going what's the difference in George Pickens' role and Keon Coleman's role or Brian Thomas's role if Brandon Ayuk ends up on the Steelers? Right? What's the difference? Yeah. Anyways, appreciate all the love here. Getting some more wedding shout out. Love this. Guys here saying that they love Brian Thomas. Sam Olson saying easy sheet told me to take Monty. I respect it, man. In easy sheet, we trust. That's interesting. So let's see your roster here. So you got a Buffalo stack. Hey, that's the true GM. Didn't even notice that Sam Olson has the coveted Allen plus Dalton Kincaid in the middle rounds here in the 4-5. There, that is a tough one to execute. He has alongside some good wide receivers. You get some positive correlation boost by taking David Montgomery alongside Amon-Ra St. Brown. That checks out. And then you got the Keon Coleman fall to go all Buffalo. So he is correlating the hell out of this thing thanks to easy sheet. Interesting strat here. Cross-dressing life, 48% Brian Thomas in the marathon through 110 drafts. He's always staring at me in the 8th round. Wow, that was some great reading skills, John. Congratulations on embarrassing yourself in front of 250 people. Holy smokes. Do me a favor, hit that like, that subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter, give it a little retweet or something here so we get some more eyeballs on it. We got 2 more shows this week for sure, and then probably a isolated members only video on the baseball slate on Thursday, pending what the slate looks like. Maybe Friday morning, pending when I'm meeting up with family and stuff like that. But we are going to be doing Pete Overzet and I off and on the clock tomorrow, and then Hayden Winks and I 2:30 Eastern on Thursday there, talking a little ball. So play more football content coming your way this week. So do me a favor, hit that like, that subscribe, that notification, all that fun stuff. Blake asking, does he take Burrow here? Burrow is a guy who is absolutely popping in the ETR stuff. Burrow and Higgins. They're much higher than industry standard here. You have a Jamar Chase team, but you already took the Kyler McBride thing. Yeah, I'd take Burrow there and lock in those 2 quarterbacks and shut it down. Really like how your team's coming together, Blake. Much more than mine, to be honest. But we'll find a way to line this plane. Jonathan Brooks, a guy that in all my weekly winners drafts, I've kind of just X'd out. If you guys had some time to check out the Becoming a Best Ball Bro series that I did there with JJ Zacharyson, incredibly nice of him to invite me on that one. A big pinch yourself, you made it, boy moment, because I remember listening to JJ Zacharyson way back in the day with Living the Stream and all that sort of stuff. So it was super cool to do something alongside him. Hope we can do something as Underdog teammates in the future here. But yeah, we talked a bit about the weekly winner strategy, and I'm really harping in and targeting those front weeks. And it's led me to a lot of Arizona builds. A lot of Arizona because I love the front end schedule of the first 4 or 5 weeks of Arizona. So I'm finishing up a bunch of slows. Actually, morning of my wedding, just hopped in a bunch of weekly winners slows. What a fucking idiot I am. But it was pretty fun. Just kind of pushed the plane for a couple there. Okay, we got 2 picks here. I think one has to be a running back after this start. We could entertain the idea of putting Purdy with Samuel on this side of the board here, but some good running back options for us. I think we take Javonte Williams, a guy I'm kind of underweight right now, and I kind of want to get a little bit more exposure to. I was bypassing him. I'm going to have a very big Nick Chubb stand this year. The more and more of these puppies that I do that are in the slow drafts, I cannot quit the fact that they haven't added more bodies to that room. The fact that he's ahead of schedule, the fact that there was a report from Cleveland.com the other day that he potentially could only miss the minimum stay on the pup. I mean, he is just jumping off the page to me. We're going to take Zach Mawson by the dip a little bit here. He missed the first preseason game due to an illness. So everybody got all excited about Chase Brown. They're pushing up Chase Brown. I will chase Brown up the board a little bit, but I'm not going to quit this Zach Moss stuff, man. I said something to the point on that pod with JJ that the Bengals backfield to me is kind of what the Chiefs pass corp is to Davis, where it's like, I don't really care who wins the job and which one I have. I just know that I want to have one of them on a good amount of rosters. I think Arizona's offense is underpriced right now. I think the Rams offense is underpriced. And I think the Bengals offenses are underpriced comparatively. I do not see, well, I don't necessarily think, let me think of a better way to word this. I think there is a decent chance that all three of those teams, or those two teams, could definitely, them being the Bengals and the Rams in particular, maybe Arizona, could outscore the Bills offense this year. Might be a hot take, but I kind of feel like from a macro team standpoint, I kind of like that. I kind of like it. Line of scrimmage jumping in, saying he really liked the chat with JJ. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, Nick saying I rep the brand well. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Had to make sure I got in some scroll the F down stuff in there and some gal braining. Actually, one of the gal brain takes that I want to talk to Pete about tomorrow, and I put it on the cover there, but I'd like to talk through with you guys in the chat and the Discord and stuff maybe beforehand here, is how do we feel about Justin Fields, man? How do we feel about Justin Fields right now? Because I think Justin Fields on a week-to-week basis, he's a top 3 to 5 quarterback, especially behind a good offensive line with a good design rushing scheme. That's for like one isolated week. I think like if we were playing Battle Royale week 1, we know Justin Fields is playing and they're playing Atlanta. They are playing Atlanta in week 1. Justin Fields is quarterback what in our rankings for Battle Royale for week 1? Quarterback 5, 4. Like, you know, I'm kind of fine chasing him up the board, even if he doesn't start. Now, when I was listening to Hayden and Josh, the bear case is that Justin Fields played poorly in the first preseason game, some fumbling issues, a sack that you guys can just go read and listen to what they said. But like there was a bad sack, there was some fumbling issues, that sort of thing. And it was not him who led the team onto the field, even though he was going to be starting. It was Russell Wilson who led the team out of the tunnel onto the field, etc., as like veteran leader kind of role. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to feel, because I feel like he introduces the ceiling of variance that we chase for winning GPP contests in a bigger way than almost any player, period. Yeah, I don't know. Like there's 3 players right now that I'm kind of like hell-bent on clicking, but then they never feel comfortable and they could just bury me. And it's Nick Chubb, TJ Hawkinson, and Justin Fields. That's a fucking scary list. That is a scary list of potential zeros on a lot of rosters. That being said, I know the ceiling of these players, but maybe I'm buying in too hard to the fact that I know the ceiling of these players, where there could be players that exist that have higher ceilings or more obtainable high ceilings than these players do, right? Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting stuff. Here we go. This makes me feel good. Sam Olsen said Fields is his highest owned quarterback in BBM. It is the low owned week 17 hammer. I love that, man. I have done a couple of these Kansas City builds and then just tacked on naked Fields. You think about one of the naked Fields games that broke the slate last year. They were down 28-0 at half. And then Justin Fields just went nuts. He was just like, fuck it. I'm playing YOLO ball. I'm getting it back in. C Money suggesting 25% Fields right now. GM easy. GM. Crazy, man. All right, let's think through this next pick. Gabe Davis, really encouraging for all the bearish things we suggested about. Okay, let me think through. All right, let's take two camp risers. Let's take two potential camp risers here. Let's take AD Mitchell and let's take Gabe Davis. Let's do it. Encouraging that AD Mitchell played some slot. I have not seen it yet. I'm just reiterating the words of other people. But just encouraging that he played some of that instead of Michael Pittman Jr. for that role. And then encouraging that Gabe Davis stayed on the field in two wide receiver sets and just stayed out there with that X role, kind of replacing what the Calvin Ridley stuff was. And it was Christian Kirk who did the rotating. So feels like some good clicks there. Not amazing, decent. Should we summarize it through the first 12 rounds? We flipped the board with Patrick Mahomes, hoping to get Hollywood Brown or Xavier Worthy to fall back to us, neither of which happened. Patrick Mahomes, Rachaad White, Javonte Williams, Zach Moss at a little bit of a discount. All of them at a little bit of a discount. Puka, Deebo Samuel, Rome Odunze, Jordan Addison, Jameson Williams, AD Mitchell, Gabe Davis, Travis Kelce. Not bad, not great. We're going to have to get creative here for introducing some back stacks because Rome's quarterback's gone. Addison, we could get crazy with the Sam Darnold Addison combo. Goff is going to be gone by the time he comes back to us. AD Mitchell's quarterback's gone. Gabe Davis's quarterback's gone. We're going to have to get creative. We are going to have to get creative with a skinny stack with our second tight end. We're going to have to get creative with potentially some naked upside quarterbacks. We are going to have to get fun out here. I do really think we've hit that time, and hat tip to Liam, who was on the show with Pete yesterday, that I do think we've really hit that time in the calendar where it's just throw ADP out the fucking window in this 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and build for rosters that make sense. Stay within some kind of construction, but buy yourself an ownership discount, right? Because, when we start thinking about it, Jalen Polk, some kind of like bearish reviews over his preseason usage. What's the difference in Jalen Polk, Luke McCaffrey, and Jordan Whittington and Johnny Wilson right now? What's the difference in those four players right now? We could have players on better offenses with both Whittington and Wilson, and they get drafted, what is it, over the course of the summer, 10% of the time, 8% of the time. We could look up on ETR the projected ownership versus it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, this is the counter. Nathan's got the counter. Polk has no established veterans ahead of him, especially after they cut my boy Juju. They cut my boy Juju, man. Oh, that take aged like milk. Hashtag follow the money, boys. He could lead the team. He could lead the team in wide receiver snaps. Fuck. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Who does Polk have ahead of him? Yeah. I mean, it's fair. It's fair. I guess the issue with Polk is how many times does New England score more than 20 points this season? How many times does New England throw for multiple passing touchdowns in a game this season? Even if he's one on the depth chart, who gives a fuck if he's running wind sprints? I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I think Jalen Polk's a good football player. I'm just playing devil's advocate for the sake of it. How much Ray Davis is too much? Sam Wilson's asking. Apparently, you can't have enough right now, according to some of their reports there. I mean, they love Ty Johnson. Coaching staff has loved Ty Johnson. But apparently, they do not love James Cook in the way in which they loved James Cook at the tail end of last year. Fumbling issues henceforth. All right. All right. Joe doesn't snipe us there. I think this is going to be Matthew Stafford for us. They do share the same bye week, though. But I don't see a better path I would rather tack on a naked third quarterback or tack on Bo Nix to Javonte Williams than pass on Stafford here. I would like to take Stafford with Puka and build out that bet, even though they share the bye weeks. Maybe the shared bye weeks kind of get us out of some ownership here. Hunter Henry, one of Nez's highest exposed players at the tight end position there. I think maybe we can wait. Take a look at the running backs here. Antonio Gibson's usage, a little bit encouraging. Let's take Jalen Wright. Let's shoot the moon. Let's shoot the moon with our fourth running back here. Let's shoot for some ceiling with a guy like Wright. I don't think the path. Nez made a cryptic tweet in reference to this year's Devin Achane could potentially just be last year's Devin Achane, who is actually just Jalen Wright. I don't think it's that clean. I think looking for the greatest outlier in terms of performance ever doesn't just come around. You can't just go, hey, Devin Achane. Now this next guy can just be Devin Achane because he has the same role on the depth chart. I think there's a chance that Jalen Wright is a very explosive player, that he's a good runner, but he's a bigger frame guy than Devin Achane. I think he's better suited to take over the Raheem Mostert role if something goes wrong, because Devin Achane was one of the most extreme outliers in terms of efficiency in the history of the running back position. I don't think you can just go, okay, Mike McDaniel's scheme, here you go. Put in, now do it with Jalen Wright. I don't think it's that cut and dry, that simple. But I do think there is a path for Jalen Wright mattering this year. And yeah, it could be nice. All right, what do we got here? Following up. Eli suggesting that as a 25-year-old rookie, Ray Davis is going to eat this year. Yeah, not a May fan. I'm not a May fan. I'm not a May fan. I just don't. When I look at some other people's profiles and portfolios rather, and sharing their exposures and stuff, I just can't get as excited about the New England backstack offense, and it's why my portfolio has really put a premium on some of these mid-tier quarterbacks or some of these other stacks, like something like Blake did, for instance, in this draft, where he took two premium quarterbacks in Kyler and Joe Burrow, or who have the upside ceiling of potentially being quarterback one, but you get them in round 7 and round 9. Something like that, and doing a 2 quarterback team is much more enticing to me than doing like the Mahomes in the first, in the 5th round, and then doing 2 punt quarterbacks with him in like, Drake May and Bo Nix or something like that. Like that one doesn't. I just, the way I've been constructing rosters relative to the landscape this year is more reflective of me not being a fan of the builds that incorporate May than me being a fan of May in general. Yeah. Trying to think of something fun for Pete has a video coming out soon. I think he said it on the channel there. I'm trying to think of something fun to add to the video where you got to film a 1-minute clip of, what's my spiciest take or something like that. Like what's my spiciest scared to share with the public take. And I can't really think of one yet because I have no shame. I just share them all. But I'm slowly thinking of one. If you guys have one for me, let me know here. Maybe it was that stupid Juju one. All right, Easy, let's hear it. Easy's got a contrarian one. Please tell me it involves Miles Sanders, who I keep drafting in weekly winners to win the first couple weeks. Whoa, there's your Sam Darnold. Everyone is getting so excited to take Sam Darnold. He goes in the 15th. So there goes our backdoor out at a third quarterback. Oh, Easy's in the vid. I like it. Okay. All right. I like it. Okay. A plug. Yeah, Miles Sanders, the next Kyron. Who could forget? If that's true for 2 weeks in weekly winners, I'm winning a week. If that is true. My weekly winners are still finishing up. I think I did 50 of them total. but I kind of did them backdated. And then it was about to close as my wedding was coming around. And I was like, fuck, I don't have time to do a bunch of these right now. So I just, I was like, oh, I'll just get in 10. And then I was like, what am I doing? I'll get in 20 more. Then I'll get in 10. And then I think I ended up with 50, but I can't actually tell you right now because they're all just in this tab somewhere in the I have to, yeah, I mean, like I think you have to go through and count or whatever, right? But they're all just here. We can eyeball it here. That's about 20 so far. That's probably 25. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be close to 50. We can keep scrolling, but who gives a shit? Nobody cares about my teams. Oh shit, I did it to myself here. There we go. Go to the draft. Would have missed that one. All right. Did Fields go? Yes. He went right fucking in front of me. Great. Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Okay, let's just do the backdoor plan that I was planning. We'll just do it now. I mean, we probably can get it later. But let's just do it, get it over with, and we'll find some new scrolls. Because this team was begging for Jordan Mason. This team was begging for Jordan Whittington. They're begging for my guys there. But I think if I could script these last 4 rounds, it was going to be Fields right there. And then I was going to consider either Naked or the Rome Wilson. Then it would have been Whittington to add to the stack. It would have been Jordan Mason. And then it would be probably another running back because we're thin at running back. Maybe another tight end. Yeah. But Juwan Johnson and or Colby Parkinson was going to end up on this team. Maybe both end up on this team. We'll see. Is this too thin to do 5 running backs? I hate having to do 3 quarterbacks with Mahomes, but I'll do it every now and then. But is this team too thin with White, Javonte, Moss, Wright? Probably. This probably has to be a 6 running back team, and you just have to trust the fact that Juwan Johnson can be your tight end too. Wow. DJ Mitchell with an absolute banger. For the puck guys, Miles Sanders is the Jonathan Huberdeau of the NFL. That is awesome. Love Star saying that's too thin a running back room by 1. All right. We got to get another one in there then. We got to get another one. We got to start thinking of some new scrolls, man. Everyone's been taking our scrolls. R.I.P. Johnny Wilson. R.I.P. Jordan Whittington. R.I.P. Jordan Mason. All our scrolls, man. They're falling by the wayside here. There's your Eric Gray. AK123. Absolutely tapped in on the news right now, circulating around. Sam Darnold, round 15. Eric Gray, round 16. Get ready to learn 8th place, buddy. Absolutely tapped in on the news. I kid, though. I kid. That's fun. ADP doesn't matter here. I do like what he's doing with the maybe now I understand why I like it. I saw TJ Hawkinson and I saw Nick Chubb. And I'm like, yeah, I like this. I like this. Isaiah Likely, too. Some good shoot the moon candidates. Get your guys. John alluding to Van Jefferson. Some reports of him being WR2. Very interesting. His ADP goes really high in weekly winners. Surprisingly high. There goes my Jordan Mason pick. Yeah, the Khalif Raymond one getting a little steam here. That was in Kyle Dvorchak's article there. He talked up how Khalif Raymond kind of looks solidified as wide receiver 2. there. Dylan Gibson's comment cracks me up. Cracks me up with the Kadarius Toney picture there. How about Sky Moore on this team? What do you guys think about Sky Moore as our scroll the F down? Sky Moore playing, just rotationally as soon as Hollywood Brown was out, Sky Moore jumped in. Now Hollywood Brown could miss 1 week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks. Who knows? Most likely it'll be on the shorter end of the spectrum based on what the Twitter doctors are telling me. Is Sky Moore in play now? I don't know. Probably too far. Probably too far a scroll, huh? CEH probably fits this team better than Sky Moore because we need running back. There goes Prince. Takes away an out. We should have the Kendre Miller conversation, and we should probably take him here. I think we just kind of got to avoid Tracy right now. There's no reason we should ape that one. I think this is at least, I think it's got to be 2 running backs, eh? Take Kendre Miller with 1. Okay, if the chat can vote quick enough. Parkinson. We take Colby Parkinson. We could take Whittington. Or we take running back. And I think running back at CEH. CEH correlates. CEH probably number 2 on that depth chart still. Take Parkinson. Take CEH. Parkinson. Whittington. Not a single vote for CEH, who I took like an idiot. I panicked. Yeah, Whittington for the brand. The brand is in shambles now. Whittington was our guy, man. We got to find a new guy. As soon as everybody catches our guys, we got to find a new guy. The brand turns over so quick. We just got to be ready. The people have been playing catch up this whole time. Theo Johnson goes there. Kind of a fun click right now. Ray McLeod. Can Ray McLeod be our new guy? Can Ray McLeod, now with Rondell Moore out for the season, can it be our guy? Is it going to be Casey Washington? What do you guys think? Wide receiver 3 in Atlanta up for grabs there? Wide receiver 3 in Atlanta feels like a hell of a lot more fun to click than like wide receiver 3 or 4 in New England or Denver. You guys see the A.T. Perry Dennis Allen quote? Has Dennis Allen ever said anything nice about a player in the history of his existence? I'm not as scared about Kendre Miller as I once was at this price tag. I had 0% Kendre Miller until this week. Once I realized that Dennis Allen doesn't say anything nice about anyone ever. Malik Washington getting a little steam there. We are finding some scrolls down here. Are we sure Estime should still be going in the 17th round? That was fun while it lasted. Fun draft. Number 99. You could tell the ones that I do on my own because they're not labeled. How tilting is this for some of you to look at my BBMs here? Fave of the summer. Caleb double stack. BBM. Badge Bros with Nez. BBM. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Taysom being a quarterback on Underdog is a tragedy. I'd click him every draft as a tight end. I agree with you. Yeah. Devon getting some hype after a couple one-handed grabs at camp there. Troy Franklin at 99%. I know who I'm clicking. Just give me the guy. Just give me the guy who's low owned. Why not? Eli saying that estimate did not look good to him. We're getting some fountain scroll down. Holy smokes. Scroll to the cellar. That is deep, man. I remember taking fountain like 3-4 years ago, whatever it was, like BBM 1 or 2, and like scrolling down for him then on the Colts. You're like, yeah, he's having a nice camp. Trey Tucker. We've been talking about Trey Tucker for a minute around here. That could be our new scroll down. We've taken Trey Tucker on stream a couple times. Tim Patrick, Blake saying. Veteran presence there. What if Tim Patrick is everything we want Josh Reynolds to be? What if Tim Patrick is actually the safe click? His injury history and play will not reflect that. But taking Washington a couple times. Ray Peppertoni's in on Ray McLeod. For my baseball people, circling back, Sam Olson's telling us that there's no big dumper in there today. That's unfortunate. Opens the door for Mitch Garver, though. Mitch Garver hitting under 200, Mendoza line guy. Really thought he was going to be something this year. Johnny Footballs is the Trey Tucker stan. My guy, 18%. Elite. Interesting. Logan Thomas released by the Niners. Could get picked up somewhere. Do we think Logan Thomas ends somewhere important? Do we think he still has a little juice? He had some weeks last year, man. He had some weeks where Chris G was telling us to take him in the dog bowl as our scroll the F down tight end, and he scored a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar for the Lamar backstack. When everybody else is taking, who's everybody else taking? They're taking Walker, they're taking Bateman, they're taking Likely. You zig when the people zag, you take Nelson Aguilar. I mean, he was viable in the playoff contest last year. Scored a touchdown. Eli asking here, have we talked about Chase Brown yet? How he looked in the preseason? Yeah, I mean, everybody's clamoring about his usage, his 9-for-9 snaps with the starters, him not coming off on third down and stuff like that. But then if you actually watch the tape, same issues as last year. You know, poor vision, east-west guy instead of a north-south guy. Coaches hate that shit, man. You know what coaches love? Pass protection, downhill, can stay on the field once they get down to the goal line so you can run up-tempo as soon as you get to the goal line. That's what coaches love. Fantasy guys love shifty, jukey DeAndre Swift. Oh, yes, Zach Moss was sick for that game. Jalen Coker. Wow. Now we're scrolling. Speaking of Jalen's, how about Naylor? Naylor's getting some love. Naylor's playing with the ones right now. Well, Naylor is one of our scroll the F downs. I mean, this is deep dive though. Coker, wow, that's a true hat tip. Scroll the F down. Who said that one? That's beautiful. I don't know what the depth chart looks like in Carolina, and I'm not sure I want to be taking wide receiver 5 on Carolina. That being said, there are some dusty olds in front of him. Naylor feels safer right now. Coker's on the radar. Thank you for placing him on the radar. I'll go check it out. Did he have a good preseason game? I don't think anyone had a good preseason game for that from that Panthers team. Thursday night game. Watched a little bit of it. All right, guys, let's break it down here. Friends and family draft. I think I'm looking at Sam's team down the middle here, and I think I like it so much more than mine. But hey, we live to fight another day. A 3-6-7-2, where we probably should have deviated from the Gabe Davis and AD Mitchell double tap, and we should have probably taken running back there and then added Whittington onto this team instead of like a Gabe Davis or something like that, or added Colby Parkinson to this team instead of forcing the Derek Carr to Juwan Johnson skinny stack when we fucked up the quarterback buys. Well, we didn't fuck up. We willingly did that. We knew we were doing that. We did say that out loud. 3-6-7-2 with Mahomes never feels great. Mahomes, Stafford, Carr, White, Williams, Moss, Wright, Miller, CEH. Puka, Debo, Rome, Addison, Jamison Williams, A.D. Mitchell, Gabe Davis, Travis Kelce, Juwan Johnson. Nez is not here to rate the team today. Give me a rating in the chat. I look at this team, 6.2. 6.2. We had some fun in the first 6 rounds in an intelligent fashion. It was a fun team. I think we might have fucked it right here with this Gabe Davis pick. I think if we take Ty Chandler here, if we take J.K. Dobbins here, if we take, I think this team looks better. Maybe with a running back here. Because this is a thin way. At least we went 6. I'm going to fall on the knife that I think the CEH pick right here was better than Parkinson and better than Jordan Whittington for this particular team. I think we needed 6 running backs on this team, even if 2 of them result in fucking zeros the majority of the time. Yeah, Pepper Tony, 6.5, not enough running back juice. I agree. 6.8, not enough running back juice. Yeah, Dylan saying Jordan Matthews had a great game for the Panthers. That's a throwback name. Jordan Matthews. Eagles legend. Scrolled so far, he found Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley, man. Still not that old. Todd Gurley. Still in the player pool. Still not that old. 3 years ago, all signs pointing toward Detroit. What an absolute news nugget to just still be left on there 3 years ago. All signs pointing Todd Gurley to Detroit. That's hysterical. That is great. All right, Meatwad saying that scroll the F down guy of Kendrick Bourne. 215.7 ADP. Guess that's a real scroll the F down guy. Yeah, what does that even mean? I don't know. Coming off the injury. I think if we get some clarity with the Drake May starting potential, that some of that stuff will become way more palatable. You know, if we get like one good preseason Drake May start, like he didn't play very much in the first game. If we get like one good half of Drake May football in week 2 of the preseason, and there's some murmurings about him starting the season, all that stuff becomes more palatable. And I guess that's the bet that people are making. But I'll mix a couple in then. Like I don't have none right now, right? I mean, we could, we'll look at it tomorrow or something. We can look through it when all these slows and stuff. Okay, here we go. Jason's got me in the chat here saying that the Tracy injury per Underdog reporting is now sprained ankle. Fantasy overreacting is in peak form. Yes and no. I mean, overreaction in terms of Eric Gray going in the 16th round. Yeah, probably. That's an overreaction. But, you know, I wasn't really clicking Tracy that much beforehand. So as soon as I see an ankle injury, I mean, I probably still don't want to click him right here. I'd probably rather have Kendre Miller upside right now, even though he's hurt. I don't know. He's a very curious case because people loved his profile. Josh Norris in particular loved Tyrone Tracy's profile. And that makes me want to like him. But we're also talking about a guy who was a receiver who's now converted to a running back who plays on a team that might not be very good. I don't know. Yeah, this is the thing though, Blake. We talked about this a little bit earlier, a couple shows back, that carted off in training camp. They always get carted off, basically. It's always carted off. It's always airs on the extreme side. Always airs on the extreme side of caution in training camp with your own medical staff. So carted off doesn't mean the same as carted off in a preseason game and or carted off in a regular season game. Carted off in training camp is different. It's a clickbaity word that is not fair. It's not fair. Interesting. Gretch with over 20% Tracy. So he's been in on it. Silva has him 149 in his top 150. Wow. All right, maybe I'm missing the boat a little bit here. Yeah, maybe I'm missing the boat a little bit here. The film was love at first sight. Okay, maybe I got to go back to the drawing board on Tracy here. All right, guys, I'm going to call it there. I want to get some baseball drafts in. I want to get some baseball slates in. If you were playing the baseball slate today, get all the way back to the beginning of this thing. Walked through it a little bit there. Love Corey Seager today, just kind of in a vacuum. Love that game environment, especially with no other good hitting environments on the slate. This team we just drafted was a 6.8 out of 10. Blake is advancing out of this, and Sam Olson is advancing out of this, and we are not. So we lit a BBM 5 bullet on fire for all of you for the sake of entertainment. There you go. If you guys aren't playing on Underdog Fantasy, I don't know why you wouldn't be by now. But if you happen to not be, use promo code MLB, 3 little letters, at sign up, get you a 50% match deposit up to 250 USD back. So if you deposit $500, you will get 250 back for that. Do me a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe, notification bell. I can see that we got 250 people still here. We got 170 of them on the Twitterverse, and we got 70 of them, and we got 80 of them hanging out on the Badge Bros channel. Come on over, Badge Bros channel, hit that like, subscribe, notification, help feed the algorithm, help feed Mr. Good Boy. Yes. And Sam, thank you so much. Smash the like button, and congrats on the sex. Still a best ball virgin. Yes, thank you so much. GG's from everybody in the chat. Everybody's favorite time in the show. Best of luck tonight in the MLB streets. The end. Peace.